church stories that I will tell them.
Still wearing a little bit of red there.
A little bit of red. Go Cards. And thank you very much for having me. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank Veronica Sears, as well as the Cabinet of Health and Family Services for inviting me today, as well as the Governor and opening up your beautiful mansion for us today to celebrate this great day. It is always a humbling experience to stand before an audience who is passionate to help the most vulnerable assets in our country, to our future as well. That is our children. Being one of those vulnerable children helps me empathize and reminds me to thank the Lord every morning when I wake up for the support that I receive from family members, mentors, and especially the foster parents in my life who set me on a path for a positive outcome. This speech is for them and for you in the audience. You truly make a difference in the children's lives today. This past Sunday, in the church in Louisville, we were able to help promote foster and adoptive parents in our community. As I walked into the church, there was 1,140 socks hanging from the rafters, like chandeliers, representing the number of children in foster care in our city. Below those chandeliers was an empty table with plates, forks, knives, and even a baby chair, all the fixings. But in the middle of that table sat a sign that posed a question. Is there room at your table? This question started to resonate with me and how the different tables I was in my life that I sat at, the families I've encountered in my life, because I was one of those children at that table. Having strangers look at me and wonder, what's this kid going to do next? These tables are full of struggles with trust, victories of hope, neglect with hunger, loving one another, and chaos with separation, and eventually, peace of mind. This is our story, and I'm glad to stand here today to share that story with you. So let's start at the beginning. We loved our mother. I was never mad at her or anything like that, a little disappointed in my life. But she had asked for my forgiveness a long time ago because she had made some bad decisions with alcoholism and drugs. I don't remember the first time we were taken away, but I do remember the second time, because the first time felt like just a sleepover at someone's home. The door opened up and stood my aunt and a social worker, ready to take us away. We stood stunned for a few minutes, because we didn't know what was going to happen next. We were just feeling children. We had pulled the mattress down from the beds and put them in the stairwell and slid down just to have fun for the day because our mother was passed out due to being drunk. What did we do? We did what we were told. We got dressed, packed our stuff, and we walked out the door, all five of us. We thought we were all right. We were going to be okay because we were all together. That was the most important thing as we stayed at our aunt and uncle's house. Together in a room with a queen-sized bed that all four of the boys slept on, and our sisters slept on the couch. There was a bookshelf in that room with a small TV on top of it. We read every book on that shelf. I could probably recite you those books right now before you even turn the page. But in that home, there was some physical and mental abuse. We were told that we were not going to amount to anything. We were going to end up just like our mother. But soon, my sister grew courage. She grew courage enough to report it to a teacher, and that teacher started an investigation. But that came with a cost of us being separated. My brother and I were sent to our foster home in Union County. My sister was sent to a group home in E-Town. My two little brothers stayed there while the investigation went on. Oh, did I worry about them. Would something happen to them? Would there be retaliation for the investigation that was done for them? But I had to be assured that they would be all right. My brother and I were placed in a foster home, like I said, in Union County with an older white couple. They ran a motel in the back of their house where people could stay for the night, or if there were older foster kids there, they would stay in the back. Their ages ranges from between 16 and 18. Who needed a night or a month to stay there before they moved on to their next placement, or until they aged out. We stayed at the main home though. My older brother was 12, I was 10, and we would sit at the counter as they fed us and talked to us as we went from back and forth between school. Yet, soon I would be alone. My brother looked at me one day and it was the strangest look. He said, "I'm tired of this." And I was like, "What are you gonna do?" So he started destroying the property in that foster home. He had picked up a porcelain pig that day that they had cherished so much and slammed it to the ground, shattering it to a million pieces. They immediately jumped on the phone and said, "Get him out of here." Now, I was alone. For about 6 months, I stayed with them, and soon, they had to give it up. They were older. I respected them so much because they sat down with me. They told me it wasn't my fault. They just couldn't put up with everything that was going on in the background. And that they, like I said, they were older. Within days after this conversation, I was packing my stuff and I was moved to another family. This family is here today, sitting in the audience. They had dreamed of owning land for a farm, and they were ready to transition to a 40-acre plot of land. And I remember that first dinner I had at the table with them. I kind of looked scared and embarrassed of what was going to happen next, but they just kept talking to me and loving me and trying to get me through this. But I also remember one conversation that took place. I came with bad news. See, I needed heart surgery because I was born with some defects. Nothing life-threatening. I just couldn't play sports or do anything extraneous because they wanted to make sure I was okay. Those foster parents said, "We will take this on." They were not afraid. So the foster mother packed up things for me and her and drove all the way to Louisville for 2 hours to drive. I remember sitting in that car and asking, "Why is this lady doing this for me? She barely knows me." But it came time for the surgery. She held my hand, wiped away tears of fear, and even sang to me as I drifted off to sleep before the surgery. I woke up in so excruciating pain I've never experienced before in my life. I remember her being over to my left and she ran running over to the bed. She did the same thing she did before I fell asleep, soothed me as she would do for our own children, as the morphine kicked back in until I fall back asleep. After this, of course, there was a recovery period of walking, strengthening, and trusting this family to take care of me, and they did. As I recovered, I watched this land develop from mounds of dirt to a farmland where I worked hot summers and cold winters. I even had to break open the pond to feed the cows before going to school. And I remember that. I even got chased by cows too, and that's not fun. After 6 years, I stayed with this family. But I was moved. Not because of their decision, but a mistake done by me. They didn't want to even give me up, even with this mistake, but it was by state's rules. I was placed in a group home where I was labeled as a bad kid. From overnight, I went from the quiet country life to the noisy big city. No table to go to, or advice, or for refuge. I cried so many nights. No one to wipe those tears of fear away anymore. Wanted to be back on the farm, being chased by those cows again, into the arms of my foster mother and father. Within days, I was immediately enrolled to an alternative school where kids, we walked through metal detectors, patted down for weapons and drugs before I even got through the door. Something I'd never experienced before. I stayed at the school for a full year. And needless to say, I was respectful and quiet, and some of the teachers said, "You don't need to be here." But still, I walked down those halls with my head down. But with excellent progress at school and good behavior at the group home, they decided it was time for me to grow up. 18 was approaching fast, and a lot of kids like me do not recommit to the system for what I've been through. We agreed that we were going to be in the independent living program, and that I was going to learn how to get a job, pay bills, and of course ride the bus to get to my job. But that really was just a backup plan because the real thing I was learning is to stay out of trouble and duck when I heard gunfire. But this plan backfired too. The program that I was in shut down after 2 months. Of course, there were kids that were already in that program that were going to be fine, that got through it, halfway through it, they would be okay. But what about kids like me? There was a lady there that was so upset. Unfortunately, she's not here today, but I'm going to tell her story too, and her father's story, my foster father's story too. She went home and talked to this gentleman and said, "We have to take these kids in." And without hesitation, he said yes. She took 3 of those kids in from that independent living program. We were all ages 16 to 18. They worked hard to get me out of that alternative school, got me into a regular school for my senior year, and decided the route was for college was for me. I ended up getting a full ride to the University of Louisville on an academic scholarship. And one of those meaningful conversations that we had was at a small table, 2 chairs at the end, one-on-one conversations. And I told her, I said, "I want to go to U of L, but I want to come back and stay here at home and just commute." And I remember her exact words today. She said, "No, Nick, you can't do that. You got to go out and see the world. But remember, you can always come back home. This is your home." And I still remember those words now. These families made room at their tables, no matter what the size of their table, big or small, table or no table. And let me tell you, they made an impact and importance when they had those conversations at the table. And I carry those lessons with me today, taught by a teacher about tenderness and kindness, a farmer that put a shovel in my hand and instructed me what hard work and forgiveness is, a veteran showed me what true respect and virtues are, a caregiver that gave me a second chance, and that you can always come back home. These individuals instilled and restored my dreams. And one of those dreams came true when I got to walk and see my son come to this world, Sebastian. I get to carry those lessons, those conversations I had with those parents to my dinner table. And I hope to pass them on to them. Just like they said before, we are honoring today parents who go beyond and above the call of duty. And I tell you, keep having those conversations at the table. We are listening. We are definitely listening to you every day. And please continue to make